Good evening. It's Saturday night and I've been working all day on getting my podcast out because, as you know, I also host a podcast, the God Mode Pod. But Friday and Saturday is my podcast day. On Friday we record and then I have like 2 hours to edit it all and get the podcast out. And on Saturday, we repurpose the whole episode and put it into clips. Now, yesterday we had a really good episode. I think we recorded for like 2 hours and 30 minutes. The full episode was 1 hour and 55 long. Now, you think, whoa, you do this all manually? Do you really clip it all up and find the best pieces? No, of course not. I trained my Claude to help me with this. Now, what I'm going to share today is my framework that I use, both pre-production, how I'm collecting all the topics that I want to talk about, how I get some more insights on those topics, how I'm moderating, and how AI is helping me doing this, but also how I'm repurposing all these clips and distributing about 20 to 25 clips per episode to 3 different channels. So that means 75 clips in total going to TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts, all with different captions, all written by AI. And it's just one system, one framework. So I'll take you through the framework. And the 30x30 challenge means create 30 things in 30 days. So today it's not going to be an app. Today is going to be my framework, pre and post production for a podcast. And I hope I can help you or inspire you by sharing this with you, so you could do the same if you're creating content, so you can repurpose things, so you can save ideas. Let's dive straight in. So I'm sharing with you today the production operating system that ships my podcast. And it's quite easy, actually. It starts in Telegram. We have the God Mode Pod. And here we see that I can just do /docket and a Twitter link. Then my bot, the God Mode bot, collects the tweet and enriches the data. This then goes straight into the database. The database for episode 13, for example. I recently also added some extra features to the bot, what it can do. So I can now ask /list, and I can see the list of the last 10 topics. Another thing we can do is /topics, and we get the list for all the topics of the full episode. So this is something in Telegram. I'm not really using these features except for the /docket, because if I see a nice tweet, I put the tweet into the Telegram channel, and I know that I can find the topic later. We capture our pre-production ideas from nice tweets that we find from interesting ideas on Telegram, goes onto a database, gets stored in Supabase. How does it work? And why does it exist? Well, we have 3 hosts, me, Ben, and Luca. Every week we record a podcast on Friday. 3 hosts, 1 phone, 1 podcast a week, and a day-long edit hell, which I've been through today. It's 10 p.m. now. I've been editing all afternoon to get the clips out. If you ever ran a podcast, you know how hard it is to collect ideas, find topics, find guests, and all of that stuff. And that's basically why I've built a system to make it easier for us. So here's what we wanted to have. A live docket where everyone could talk to the data, but on their own. So it's like individual data. Each individual could talk to the data itself. Here is the rhythm, basically, how we record our podcast. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're usually on Twitter. We follow the news. If there's nice news to talk about, we add it to the bot, to the docket. Then on Thursday night, Friday morning, I do some extra Twitter searches, add it to the docket. And once that is done, I go into my docket, and more specifically, my Claude Live Artifact. Now, this is V2 of the docket. Let's see what we see here. So here we see my Claude app. This is the docket that Claude built for me, and this is a live artifact. So it pulls the data from what we save in Telegram onto the docket. Now here I can do different things. Again, this is the V2. This is the live docket, and here I can open each of the topics, look at them. What else can I do here? I can talk to the docket. I can say what's interesting. Can you generate an introduction, an intro for the episode, and all of that good stuff. So this is already a big improvement compared to what I showed you earlier, the web app, and where you cannot talk to it. It just generates once. If it's a hit or miss if it generated. You got to try it again and try it again. All costs money because you're using an API key and you're not using your Claude. And that's the nice thing about this. It's all within your within your Claude subscription. So I don't have to worry about how many tokens I burn by talking to the document because it's within Claude. It's within my subscription. I could ask to generate an intro. I'll just generate this right now. Let's see what it writes. Episode 12 is live now. I'll plug it here as well so you can go and watch it. 1 hour and 55 minutes of Four builders talk about AI. It's a good episode. I really love this one. I think it's been our best episode yet. And like I said, today I worked all afternoon and I cut 33 clips. They're all going to be distributed on all our channels. So yeah, I could not have done this 5 years ago when AI did not exist. So I'm quite grateful AI exists, that I don't have to cut it all myself and research and all that stuff. Now, Claude is drafting the intro. It's identifying the red lines and then writing the opening. Introduction is the most important thing when you're making a YouTube video, because if you don't have a good introduction, then people are going to click away, right? Obvious. If my introduction was not good, you would not be watching here right now, right? Boom. Our introduction is ready, and it identified 3 red lines: to compute supercycle, the agents replacing applications, and platform wars splintered. So 3 topics, and then the introduction that I could say, or at least could read and know what to say. Great. That's the docket. Live information pulled from the MCP. MCP is connected to the database, and we fill up the database by talking to our agent on Telegram. Good. This was our docket V2, a live artifact on Claude that I can still use. This is within Claude Cowork. If you haven't used it, great place to build live artifacts. But what I'm now actually using is my recording cockpit, I call it. Because me as a host, it's kind of hard to jump from topic to topic. The docket was like, yeah, I have cards per topic, but I cannot really see and structure like what's right. So that's what I was missing. Now, here is the recording cockpit. What it does here, it shows all the topics that are submitted. I could change the order, and I can assign different tags to each topic. So I can say this is the lead story, this is segment 1, segment 2, this is a rapid fire round, so topics for the rapid fire, this is a meme, etc., etc. And this is a cut, so we don't want this one in there. Great. Then based on those tags, I can then say generate the full outline, suggest topic order, write cold open, episode thesis, block transitions, hot takes, clip captions, and fact statics per topic. So this is amazing, right? I can now talk to and use Claude to analyze all the topics we want to talk about in our episode. Again, I haven't had to think a single moment except for tagging those topics, right? Awesome as a podcast host. All I had to do was submit on Telegram, and now I can go into my recording cockpit and I have my full outline. So I don't even have to think much. And then here the outline comes. So I ask some questions. Here's all the answers. It's great. And then we have, for example, the meme of the week. I could give some keywords. It finds the meme related, like it then goes and finds in the docket list which ones include those keywords. I can add different takes to this. If I know I submitted about this topic and then a bit later I see another fact about this topic, I could always add it to the facts of the episode. So I remember, hey, I should mention this on the episode. Should mention that. And then here we get the full episode outline. So this is basically the outline for episode 12. You can see it here, how it looks like, a cold open, different blocks or different topics we are going to discuss, what's the lead topic, and yeah. Again, this is great, but personally, it's like functionalities that are awesome. They're great to see, but honestly, as a host, I'm too focused on hosting, I'm too focused on listening, and I'm too focused on jumping between different tabs because I have a lot of tweets open. I open those before the episode starts, and again, I do that by opening the topic, opening the tweet, clicking on it, and boom, there the tweet just opened on my new screen, right? So that's the live cockpit that is connected to the MCP. This is all pre-podcast production, right? Pre-production and during production, during the episode recording. So we are now at phase 2. We did the recording. Friday afternoon, recording stops, all the recordings upload, and then my work starts. That's the first time I actually have to do something manual. And how am I doing this? When everyone's recording is uploaded, I can then download the transcript. I put the transcript in my folders locally, and I tell Claude, hey Claude, can you suggest me how I should edit this episode? Now, I don't always ask it like that because after a little while, I actually now build a skill and I say, hey Claude / full podcast edit. So then it goes and reads this transcript, and it suggests me what parts I should cut out of the episode to keep the episode on point and to keep it fast paced. So, for example, if there is some hiccups, if there are some issues, if we say some stuff we shouldn't say, like yesterday, for example, I showed something on Instagram and my DMs were visible. So then my friend Ben said, "Hey, Rick, just a reminder, your DMs were visible." Claude will find this in the transcript and will say, "Okay, at minute 44, cut this part because your DMs were visible, etc., etc." You get the point. But thanks to Claude helping me with this full episode recording edit, I can get this episode edited within an hour or 1.5 hours after recording. So that means if we finish recording at 4:30, around 7 p.m., I can have an episode ready. All I have to do then is export the episode, upload to YouTube, and 4 hours later, 4 hours after stopping recording, we can have the episode live. And that's kind of important because our podcast is news related. So it's kind of a race to get it out to stay relevant. The longer you wait, the less relevant the stuff that you talk about is, right? So, episode is live. It's Saturday morning. Now, what are we doing on Saturday? We're doing clipping. And for clipping, I have a repurpose skill that I built into Claude. So I do /repurpose, and Claude is going to give me a document of all the clips. It's going to read again the transcript. So I'm going to show you the documents now that Claude delivers to me so I know how to edit and what to edit. First of all, I'll show you the edit plan. So here's the edit plan that Claude delivers for me. Here it shows you the full episode edit plan. It gives me some information about what's been said, the thesis that's mainly overarching the episode, and then I can see here what needs to be cut and what can stay, right? So the stutter in the beginning, cut it out. Cut the banter, cut some questions where I ask Alan, "Can you see the screen?" Cut raise your hand questions. You get the idea. 10 cuts that I need to make, and then the episode is ready to go. Boom. So here it's given me another table to know what exactly I should cut, and as a double check, and then it tells me how much time I save or was able to cut. So yesterday we recorded for 2.5 hours, and I managed to get it down to 1 hour and 55 thanks to this cutting. That's the full episode. Now, after the full episode, we're doing the shorts clipping. And for the shorts edits, it's similar. It gives me a doc, and I go through the doc, and I manually clip or cut these clips into fresh clips that I can then edit later. So what I'm doing here, for example, this is a clip. And it tells me the source. It's from minute 24 to minute 25, I find this clip. So I go there, I select it, and I say create new clip. And then what I do is I name the clip like this. So I can always find it and reference it so I don't get lost, right? Super important. But what it does as well then is it tells me what specifically I should cut out to keep fast pace in the clips. And this is what's super important. And this is what makes a difference between a clip that gets 100 views and a clip that gets 10,000 views. And over the last 12 weeks, I've been fine-tuning this, and now our clips are consistently hitting at least 1,000 views, where a few days ago we had a clip that had 100,000 views. And that's thanks to the fast pace and the learning that I implement into this system. So here you see the cuts that I need to get out of it. So I have the exact timestamps. I see what's the target length. I see on-screen titles that I should put, including a recommendation. And it's getting so good that the recommendations always are being used. I don't even look at the other ones anymore. And it tells me what to cut in order. And then it tells me here, this is the titled final transcript of the video. I've done this workflow 33 times. Now, I know that this should be automatable somehow, but the AI is just not on point yet to get it all perfectly automated. And unfortunately, we're not there yet. It still takes me like a few hours, like on Saturday, 4 hours, 5 hours of spent. But it's worth it because that's how you differentiate and that's how you actually get good results. So I've done the clipping, and then the last thing that needs to happen is exporting and scheduling. So for the scheduling, Claude also writes me all the captions per platform. So those captions go into my content schedule, and it delivers it like this. So I have my content schedule, 8 days. Here is the full schedule. We will have 5 clips per day for the next 7 days. I'm going to distribute hard, a lot of clips, few hours of work, 35 clips. Good job, right? But this is how it gets delivered. So it tells me which clip, the R1, I think that's the one I showed you, maybe, maybe not. And then it gives me captions for TikTok, for Instagram, for YouTube, including a YouTube title, and for X if I want to post on X, which I currently don't do. But this is super easy for me because now I can upload the file, which are named like this. You just saw they're named as R1, B2. So I know the R is Rick, the B is Ben, and the L is Luca. And then if I go to my scheduler, Buffer, I can literally just click copy and schedule. I go to Buffer, I upload an idea. Now I go to an idea that's already uploaded just to show you. Let's say this one. It comes here. I can create a post. I then just select the different channels and I can copy the TikTok caption, goes into TikTok. The Instagram Reel caption goes into Instagram Reels. You get the deal, right? Super easy. This is kind of brainless work. Takes maybe 20 minutes to get it all scheduled. Brain off, music on, get it scheduled, get it done, and boom. You go from a full episode to 35 clips with some editing, with the help of AI, and they're scheduled and you don't have to look back. You can just open your Instagram every day and see 5 new clips, see the views rolling in, see the numbers go up. Thank you, AI. Thanks for the help. And what's important here is this is like a system that's been evolving. In the beginning, it wasn't as smooth as this. The results were not as good. And if you look at the captions, I'll go back to my Obsidian. The captions look very humanized as well. So I've been training it to be like platform specific. For example, on TikTok, we don't use any capitals. On Instagram, we go a bit deeper, but maximum 4 hashtags. On YouTube, we have our title and we have our short caption. This is all fine-tuned with the learnings week over week. And every week I change it a bit and I adapt the whole repurpose framework, right? So that's basically it. As you can see here, we have our pre-production, the yellow. We have a recording. We have our editing or repurposing. And then the phase 4 is clips going online until the next week, the next episode. Now, how does this work specifically? And I kind of took you through this, so I'm going to go quite fast through this. But basically, Telegram is the input. Everyone can put into Telegram the topics. That goes via an API call via Vercel to a Superbase database. There is a VPS worker in between there, which is my AI agent that enriches the data. So it gets the link, it checks the link, adds more information to the data before it goes into the database. Then, once in the database, there's this MCP. It's a Model Context Protocol, which means your AI agent or AI, Claude in my case, can talk to the data via this MCP. And that's the Claude desktop app. So me and my 2 co-hosts each have their own MCP key, meaning this is a key that they can use to talk to the data. Easy as that. So this way we can go from Telegram to database to talking to data in Claude pre-production. Then these are the calls that they can make. They can ask for a list of the episode topics. They can get the episode. They can list the docket topics. They can get a topic. They can get a research brief, so that gets generated in the background as well. And they can get to show context if they want to. The live run sheet that records with us. I have my cockpit. Ben has his own system. Luca has their own system. They all do with it whatever they want. They can talk to their data how they want. They can ask for specific details how they want it. That's a nice thing about the MCP. You can talk to data. And the live tools, the repurpose. I showed you how the repurpose works. So the repurpose means one transcript exported from Riverside goes into Claude, and Claude then analyzes it and gives me back how to edit the full episode, how to edit the clips, where to find the clips, how to edit the clips, clip captions, and a schedule. Here is the repurpose pipeline again. So I ingest a transcript, it gets analyzed, it writes these suggestions in the different folders and the different file names week over week, every time the same. Sometimes it gets fine-tuned. It humanizes it, so it analyzed it, but then also there's another agent or another step where it actually turns the content that's written into humanized content, so it sounds like a real human wrote it. And then we schedule the outputs. This is still, I showed you the step, this is still a manual process, but all of this can actually be automated. It's probably in 2 or 3 weeks from now, I might have managed to automate this all, and if I did, I'll show you later. So basically the post-production worker skills are transcript ingest, repurpose analysis, repurpose write, humanizer, run sheet, tight questions, slide generation, mashup maker, substack, and hook writing. Scheduling happens in Buffer. like I showed you. And yeah, we basically use a boring stack on purpose to keep things easy and fast and light. It's super nice. I'm very happy with this system. So the next 3 things to automate are basically the Buffer API integration, but it doesn't have to be Buffer. I could also use Postgres, which is another scheduling tool, more AI agent focused. So AI agents can start scheduling stuff. Automated clip cutting, but it's not really on point yet in my opinion. I still rather do this myself because I see if I let AI do it, that it has difficulties placing where the face is and the screen share, for example. And then as a last, the end-to-end auto-publishing with approval gates. Well, I actually think we're like a few weeks away from being able to do this because the outputs that Claude gives me as a repurpose for the repurpose framework is very agent readable. So an agent could actually take that and start executing if it has all the video files, it knows which speaker is speaking when, it knows when a screen is being shared. So I think we're literally a few weeks away from having this full system automated, but for now, this system already saves me hours and hours and hours and hours per week. And like I said, 33 clips edited in about 4 hours of work. 4 hours still sounds a lot, but if you ever edited clips, you know that back in the days, we could not edit 33 clips in 4 hours. It would maybe take us an hour per clip. So yeah, I'm very happy with this system. I'm very excited. It's currently still my system. I haven't really open sourced it yet. I haven't shared it yet. You could ask me and I can send it to you. Sure, join the Telegram group and I'll share what I have with you. I'll share the prompts, I share the system. And yeah, this was day 4 of ship season. Day 4 means we are past 10% of the challenge. This was a system build. This was a way how I save a lot of time for myself and how I also make life of my co-hosts easier. I'll see you tomorrow because I built a nice tool. Bye.